was the chorus to Can't Stop, the latest single released by London, Ontario-based rockers Heart Attack Kids. Heart Attack Kids originally started as a two-piece punk band made up of lead singer and guitarist Jared Ellul and drummer Nathan Stock in 2013. Their high-energy rock music really transferred well to their live performances, and the band would sign their first record deal in 2016 with Undergorund Operations, and subsequently release their first full-length album, No Future. The band would eventually switch labels and sign to Toronto-based indie label New Damage Records, and release their second full-length album, Bad Luck Like Gold. Not long after releasing this album, Nathan announced that he would be leaving the band. On good terms, mind you. He wanted to dedicate his time to his now fiance and start a new career in carpentry. Jared and Nathan are still good friends to this day. Jared didn't let this stop him from making music, and he quickly teamed up with longtime friend and bassist Craig Gignac and session drummer Mark Swann, and the three of them are currently working on new music. Can't Stop is the first single we've heard with the new lineup, but Jared hints that another single will be out before the end of 2020. I spoke with Jared about the history of the band, the new lineup, and new music he's been getting into. We even chat about the struggles of trying to stay fit during this pandemic. Here's my chat with Jared of Heart Attack Kids. Do you remember what you were doing when lockdown started to happen?
I think I was working at home. We were like trying to plan a bunch of touring and stuff like that, but I was just like at my apartment getting ready to go. Actually, I think we were gonna jam either the day before or after that.
Okay.
Or it was after. It was like a couple days after we were like had planned to jam, and then we were like, oh, guess we can't do that anymore. But yeah, no, it was just like a normal day. It's just kind of like I work from home as well, so I have like a side day job, and then I do like the band stuff. So I was just like in this exact room actually.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What do you do as your day job?
I just like help a company with like back end accounts and stuff like that. Nothing very exciting. Probably like the most unpunk thing ever. So
it's always so interesting, especially with Canadian artists. Everyone has to have a side gig. Obviously, like your music's like that's what you want to do, but then you know when you're not making music, especially right now, it's very interesting finding out like what people actually do. I was talking to the Bluestones, and Tarek, the singer in the band, he's a chiropractor, a massage therapist, one of those is
really?
consultant, I'm sure. But yeah, which I was like, really? That's what you do? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh,
that's
cool.
awesome.
That is so random and cool. So yeah, accounting back end, that is totally cool too.
There you go. I think it'd be pretty awesome to like if you had to go for like a massage or something and you just like walked in the room and you're like, hey, it's the guy from Bluestones. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Cool.
That'd be pretty sweet. That'd be pretty sweet. Are you still based out of London?
Yeah, I live like right downtown London, Ontario.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I have actually yet to go to London. I don't know. Anytime I tell someone that, they're just like, you're not missing anything. So I'm like, I don't know.
Oh,
There's got to be some cool
spots.
stuff. Yeah. That's what I don't know. I always and I've like interviewed a few bands from London, and they always tell me it's pretty cool to go to. It's just
it's kind of like a small town, big city type vibe.
Yeah, I think it's probably a bit like Barrie, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Barrie for sure. I like with the students and stuff like that. Like, so there's like Richmond Row, which was where all the bars are, and that was just like that's where you go to like party and stuff like that.
Right.
So I live like a side street like right off of that.
Oh, okay.
And it's like surprisingly pretty quiet, like where I live.
No way.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. That's what I mean. Like you can go like one street. Actually, at the end of my block, we have like London's warehouse.
Okay.
So I know like Toronto has like the warehouse kind of thing. So we have that right there, and on the next, like right beside it on the other side of the street is this place called Frog, and that's like one of the big student bars too.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, but like I can almost never hear it, so it's nice.
Oh, that's good. That's super lucky for sure.
Yeah, I live in a pretty sweet spot for sure.
Yeah. How has things with the band been during all of this?
It's been good. It's we have been just like writing a new record this whole time. Actually, so this room that I'm sitting in right now, like I have like the amp there, and I have like all my guitars and stuff here.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, so like actually at this desk, like I work all day, and then when I need to record anything, like I just record right here too.
Okay.
And just do like I bought like a like a amp box type thing. So I just like plug it in this whole desk full of gear and then record silently and do a whole bunch of guitar tracks and stuff. So
That's cool. So
yeah.
did you record Can't Stop? Like, I guess the demo for Can't Stop there? Or?
No, we did. So that one we did in November, December-ish.
Okay. So before
yeah,
things went to shit.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll get
Before
into
it's
that.
into shit. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about the single in a bit, but I noticed too from just watching your guys' Instagram live thing, that wasn't at your place, right? That would have been at Craig's place?
Yeah, that's at our bass player Craig's house, and like that house that he lives at is called the Foam Dome, which
Okay.
is where that's where like a bunch of punk shows used to happen and stuff like that. Like it was a big
cool.
big house show type vibe there.
Cool.
Back when we did the Bad Luck Like Gold shows, like all those like house show type things, we did the London show at the Foam Dome.
Oh, cool.
So,
and
yeah.
he lives
Yeah,
there?
he lives at the Foam Dome. So.
Oh, wow. And it's not like broken? I'd
No,
imagine from
he's
punk
like-
shows being there.
No, it's actually it's in great shape for like
wow,
a bunch
cool.
of people being in there. Well, I think now that it's just like, well, we can't do this for the next like forever, so
Yeah,
we're gonna just clean this place up, and it looks really nice. So
right on.
yeah,
Something I did want to ask you is, have you seen what's happened to the band's website?
no, like our band's website.
Oh, dude, if you go to heartattackkids.com, I think it was like whatever your website was back in the day, it's your logo, but it's an Indonesian online gambling site now.
Okay, I'm gonna take 1 second, and I'm gonna look at this really quick. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm excited now. This is gonna be pretty awesome. What is that?
I don't know. And like that's your
Oh man, I had no idea. We set this website up when we first got signed with Underground Operations, and then we didn't like we used it a lot then, but then kind of like when that transitioned out, we kind of like lost because we never really had access to it. Like they set this all up for us.
Oh, so the domain must have just expired.
I guess so. And then, but I love how the new logo is on here too.
Right? Yeah. So they've obviously they were just like, oh, this is a great domain name, and they just kept some stuff and have stolen some stuff. It's great. The About Us section is very fun too. If you went on hit translate, I could read it to you. It says so about us, we are the first anti-confusion site in Indonesia that supports single people or people who are upset because of a broken heart. So that you are not lonely or upset anymore, you can visit us and get something fun and victory that you have never had. So it seems to be using gambling to get over heartbreak. Apparently that's what they're all about.
I mean, all right. I guess if that's what is happening now, that's kind of funny that even if you look at the top of like Google, that's like our logo.
Yeah.
But they just put another heart over top of the other heart, but it's just like
Oh, it's so good. It is so funny.
Oh,
I spent some time going through this. I was so confused at first, and I was just like, okay,
that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. That just made my day a little bit. I might have to do something about that later, but I don't know. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, they have some stats too of like how many people they have over. Oh, now it's back in Indonesian, so I can't read what it says. But anyway, they seem to be doing okay.
Yeah,
might have to fight it.
That's so funny. Yeah, I might have to deal with that in some way. Oh my god. Oh man. Good. Oh, thanks for showing me that. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I figured if you didn't know about it, it would be funny. So
yeah, that's awesome. Oh man.
But yeah, man, let's chat music. Let's talk about the new single.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Can't Stop came out not that long ago. It came out August 20th. From what I could gather from your Instagram live again, I believe this was the first time co-writing lyrics.
Yeah, so I co-wrote the song with a guy named Aaron Allen. He's actually now becoming a really big country music guy.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we've known each other for a really long time. Like I've got most of my tattoos at his tattoo shop where we wrote the song.
Okay.
He's been like, I've known him for at least 10 years now.
Okay.
So it's been, yeah. And this is
Is
our
he
first
a
time.
tattoo artist too, or does he?
Yeah, so he's a tattoo artist, and his wife, Amy Allen, is a really renowned tattoo artist around here.
Cool.
Yeah, like they're great. Everybody there is great. Heather Autumn works there too. The tattoo shop's called Taste of Ink.
Taste of Ink. Okay.
Yeah.
And why has it taken this long to write something with someone else, you think?
I don't know. Just like wasn't really something that I had. I just had a really weird writing style. When I say weird, I'm sure a lot of people do it, but our writing style was kind of before when it was just the two of us. Would be like it was more like a jam. Mm-hmm. And then it turned into like whatever I was kind of like feeling that day or whatever I thought sounded cool, that's what we were singing about, and like every time we would kind of jam, we would just try like something different and then something would stick. Whereas like now I was trying to kind of like separate guitar and vocals because I was getting into a habit where like my guitar line would be the same as like my vocal line.
Okay.
And then in the studio, I'd have to like break that, but it's like a really hard thing to break, like when you're already like doing that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So then I was trying to figure out how to make you bigger because you're so tiny now. After I went there, but
I don't know.
Oh well. Sorry, but yeah, like so I was trying to figure out a way to like separate it.
Okay.
So then like you're like writing lyrics and writing a melody and then writing guitar. And then you have it like just like so there's more to it. And that's what I started working with Aaron is we went and wrote the lyrics. I was like, I have these guitar parts, and he's like, well, let's just put the guitar down and do the melody and lyrics first. And I kind of came with a rough idea of like what the song was going to be, and then we just fleshed it out, and then we piped up the guitar and started doing all that kind of stuff.
One of the lyrics in the song is something about like wanting to hear that sound, and I was like, this isn't a tattoo shot. Is he talking about getting a tattoo and like hearing the needle, like the tattoo machine going off? Or
I guess it could be. I was like, so I have this weird addiction of like buying music equipment, and I got like really out of control, and that had kind of like what it started as, but then we just like wanted to go deeper with it as like it's an addiction theme, because it's like everybody kind of deals with that. They're addicted to something. Yeah,
for sure.
But it like had started like that, and then but we wanted to kind of do it in a way where it was like, I don't know if fun is the right word, but we wanted it to be like upbeat, dancey song.
Right.
But you can like still talk about something that's like a little deeper at the same time.
Deeper. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. That makes so. That's what the general theme of the song is about. Is addiction to, in this case, buying sound equipment.
That's me. That's like my thing.
Right.
But I wanted it to kind of like generalize to anything that anybody that has. Yeah.
Okay. I'm picking that up now for sure. Yeah. And then the lyric video is really cool. I was like very excited to hear that it was actually done in proper stop motion style.
Yeah, Jonah killed it. So did Kimberly Mullen.
Tell me about how you know Jonah and Kimberly.
So I know Jonah. I had just met Kimberly, and they're together. But so we did a bunch of touring with Diner Drugs, and the twin Jackson is in Diner Drugs, and Jonah is his twin. Oh, okay. And so Jonah does all of the Diner Drugs music videos, which if you haven't seen those yet, like I have, awesome.
I watched. I watched them earlier today. They're so good. Yeah, I watched the Rotting Fish. Is that what it was called? Rotten Fish.
Rotting Eggs.
Rotting Eggs. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, I watched that today, and I was just like, "What the hell is going on?" Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I like the Sasquatch video where they dress Jordan up like Sasquatch, and he's like, good. "I just wanted to rock."
Oh, that's cool. Okay, and then Kimberly is his partner?
Yeah, and so she did all the cartoons in the video. Right. So she drew all those.
The high kick and all that.
The high kick.
Yeah. Sweet. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
So they did an awesome job. Like, I was blown away when they sent me the end result of the video. It's just like, oh man, this is
Had you like kind of discussed what the vision of the video would be?
Yeah, because we at the time our drummer was in Halifax, and she's no longer with the band now. But we were trying to figure out a way then of like doing a video for this song without all of us being in the same room. Because at that point it was like really expensive, and we were trying to like group when we were going to be together. So like when we did those songs, we did them at Beach Road in Godridge, but we actually did 2 shows, and then after this, like the day after the London show, we did like Windsor, London, and then did a photo shoot in the morning of the London show, but then the day after went to Beach Road at like 7 a.m. And then, so we were just like trying to cram as much stuff as we could in like a certain amount of time.
Right.
And we couldn't get a video done. So we were trying to figure out a way to have everybody like in there, but then like not actually be there at the same time.
Right. Okay. So animation is the way to go for that. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, Jonah and Kimberly really stepped up. They really did it awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great. And like I said, I'd gone kind of through Jonah's other stuff with his brother's band, but I couldn't see anything else that was animation. So
yeah, I think this was his first one.
He did a great job. I come from like a film background, so I love talking music videos, and it's always great when there's like a bit of a story behind it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really dope. When you said your drummer, are you talking about Nathan or are you talking about Mark? Because I know there's been a bit of a switch up in the last few months.
Yeah, so Laura Sangster did the drums on this single and the other single that we're going to release later this year.
Okay.
So Mark is our current drummer. Mark will be doing the drums for our third record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm trying to piece things together just because.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing for sure.
Yeah, and then New Damage is also like they're still talking about the last record, so I was just like, this guy's not here anymore. What's going on?
Yeah, well, he ended up leaving the band shortly after that record came out.
Right. Yeah, it was like in August you made the announcement, right?
Yeah, so he had decided to just so everybody knows, like Nathan and I are on like we're still really good friends. Like we're still best buddies. Like we're gonna go have drinks together and like socially distanced on Thursday. So
wicked, great, okay.
Yeah, we're still pals. Everything's all good. But yeah, he just wanted to walk a different path, and that's totally fine.
Okay.
We found out that he was leaving the band like just before August.
Okay.
Yeah, and then and then he had gotten a new job, so like we weren't gonna be able to do the touring that was based around like fest and stuff like that. So we ended up having to cancel that.
So what is he doing these days then?
He just got engaged.
Okay.
Yeah, so he got engaged. He's going to be going to school for carpentry, I think, pretty soon.
Oh, cool. Wicked.
Yeah, so he's doing great.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
Yeah.
Just doesn't want that rock star lifestyle, I guess. Well, you guys have been together for like 10 years as a band, right, at this point?
This is like year 8, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And it was like up until like basically that August, it had just been the two of us doing stuff. So I'm kind of just like now, that's kind of like the co-write stuff came into play then too, and like just trying to... Because I realized we just did like the two of us. Like Bad Luck Like Gold started to open up the co-write stuff for us. Because we wrote all those songs, and then Liam came in as a producer and helped us like write better parts and like refine everything so much better. So that was like our first like dip the toes in for co-writing. And then after Nate had decided to leave the band, then I'm just like kind of trying stuff out, you know, like I'm just trying to be a little more open-minded with how to be creative, I guess.
For sure. And I think in doing so, I had a really good time kind of going through the entire discography. You guys have evolved like so much, like, and it makes sense. Like when it was a two-man band, it was like more of a jam, like you said before. It was more about like just punk rock, loud noise, and then just a lot of like yelling. And then I noticed your second album was like a bit more refined, and now the new single is even more so refined. And like you said, it's got a bit more of like an upbeat beat to it and vibe, and it's definitely like it was very interesting, kind of listening to everything in a short amount of time and just seeing that trajectory, that evolution, I guess, of Heart Attack Kids.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I just really wanted the new stuff. Like, I remember Dave Grohl talking about, I can't remember which documentary he was talking about, but he was talking about how they needed a song that has like a bounce to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
mm-hmm.
it was like the European market likes to bounce. They don't like to mosh. It's bounce. And like, that's kind of what we wanted to get out of this new song.
Right. Okay. Well, I think you achieved it for sure.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much.
And you said, so there's one more single coming out this year.
Yeah. So there'll be a new single probably October.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's probably the right time frame between everything. So we're getting a video ready for that one too. I'm not sure what it's going to be just yet, but we're making all the plans.
Right.
And then now we're writing for like our next record, which I want to have it done and like ready to go for next year.
Mm-hmm. How far into that are you at the moment, would you say?
Well, my plan is to kind of like just write as many songs as we can and then like start narrowing them down. Mm-hmm. We've been kind of doing them because we're like swapping files back and forth so much. Right. We kind of just pick 3 and then just start to refine those 3 as much as we can. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go and we're sending them to New Damage and like as a team, like label and band deciding like which ones are the best ones and kind of like picking and choosing. But it's going to be more of like a rock record. I think. Right. It's still going to have like that edge that the older records have, but I think it's going to be more like a rock and roll record. Like if you're a fan of like the Helicopters or Hives or anything like that, that's kind of more like the style we're going for, I think.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. That's exciting for sure.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's like, it's nice right now too, and I'm a bunch of musicians are kind of doing this too. It's like, it feels really good to be writing music right now, and you're like, and you can, if you're recording or whatever at home, I find it's like very fulfilling you're like, oh yeah, I rewrote this and I get to hear it right now, and it's I don't have to wait or anything, so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Would you say, is this partly, you think, why the sound is changing a bit? Because you're kind of like giving your guitars and like the lyrics, and then Craig gets to play around. Like that's something he brought up in the live thing again, was just like he's now able to kind of have free reign because he doesn't have anyone talking in his ear or anything like that for how the bass line should work. So now he can just like play around and be like, what do you think? And then you're like, oh shit, I wouldn't have even thought of that. That's great. Is it kind of like that sort of vibe right now?
That's kind of what it's like. It's like what you just said, but it's weird because that means that it's like purely what he thought, or like Mark is like that too, where he'll send me something and I'll be like, I don't know, maybe this wasn't it. Or sometimes it's just like, yeah, that was perfect. Let's do that 100%. Right. But it's cool to be like, okay, this is exactly what Craig thought. And then you put it in. This is exactly what Mark thought. Put it in. But it's also cool because then you can because we're all kind of new bandmates right now. Mm-hmm. It's cool that like we have that chemistry and we're not even in the same room, but like we can still do that, and I think that's important too. And it's nice to see that like it's like, oh yeah, we work super well together, and this is great.
Cool. Yeah, and it can only mean that like when you guys are able to be in the studio together, it's probably only going to be better, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I've definitely noticed throughout all of this, just like trying to run my business, it's just Zoom meetings are great, but getting work done is just, it's different. Like we've been like fine getting everything done, but then when we were able to start working together and be in the same room, it was just like that, but like on steroids,
Yeah, it's like an explosion at that point, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Not to mention you're just like excited to see someone new.
Yeah.
That's
I think that helps too, right? Yeah, you're like excited that you're actually in the room with another person.
Yeah.
Instead, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to kind of go through a little bit of the origin story of the band. And I guess we've touched on a few things already. But I was very curious to know, before you and Nathan formed the band, were you guys just jamming for a while together? Like there must have been some time before you were like, oh, let's start a band. Was it you and him kind of from the beginning as you were making music?
Yeah, so like in high school, we played in a band together and it was called 8-Bit Ghost.
Okay.
And it was like, that was like we were like 15, 14 years old, like playing. And at that point, I was just moving from St. Thomas to London.
Okay.
And so our singer was doing like lifeguarding, and Nathan was there being a lifeguard too. And
Okay.
then we had invited him to come and jam. And then I had actually moved to London, whereas the other team members were still in St. Thomas. So I had offered then to come and like, oh, we can work on the songs together.
Hmm.
And then when they're, when they're in town, we can play all together. And that's
Okay.
kind of what we did. And we had just become like really good friends really quick. And then ended up going to like the same high school together. And then when that band started to kind of dissolve was like right at the end of high school.
Hmm.
And so we still had all our equipment in Nathan's basement, like his parents' basement. And we just decided, well, we both really like Jack White and we like Death from Above and we like all these two-piece bands. So why don't we just try to do it like that?
Ah.
Yeah. So we just kind of like started, we just kind of just didn't stop from when we were going before. And actually it was funny because Single Mothers is from London too.
Hmm.
And at that point we were like just discovering Single Mothers.
Okay.
And like to us they're the coolest band in the world.
Right. Right.
So it was like we saw this show at Call the Office. When you get to come to London, you'll have to go to Call the Office.
That is a place I've heard of. Yeah, for sure.
So I took Nathan to his first concert, and it was Single Mothers in the Bronx at Call the
Okay.
Office.
Sweet.
And like that, I think watching that concert was like we were gonna be like these two bands.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's like this is it. So.
Yeah.
Then we just were like, okay, let's just try and write this kind of music now, and then it kind of spiraled out of control. Now we're here.
So what was the original band, and then when you guys started as a duo, how different was the music style?
I mean, like the other stuff was like it was still like rock kind of
Mhm.
stuff. I think all that. If you want to check it out, it's on Bandcamp.
Oh,
If you
really?
want
Okay,
to,
cool.
yeah. If you want to hear our band from like 15 and 16 years old, like it's all on Bandcamp still.
Cool. Okay, sweet. And then what were you listening to growing up?
So my dad listened to. Well, it's like our dads kind of put music in our lap.
Hmm.
And it was like my dad was like Dead Kennedys, The Misfits, Danzig.
Oh shit. Yeah, cool
like
dad.
he's a pretty
You
big
have a cool dad.
metalhead
That's
guy.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. Yeah, what else did I listen to? Yeah, basically like anything in that realm.
Okay.
It's kind of like, and then Nathan's dad was like AC/DC. He really liked. He's a children's folk singer songwriter.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So he was like really into like folk music and like bluegrass and stuff like that. But like the rock bands were a lot of like AC/DC, Iron Maiden was a big one for Nathan.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it was kind of like just that mix.
Okay.
And if you listen to some of Nathan's drums and stuff like that, there's a lot of like influence from like the AC/DC drumming and stuff like
Right,
that.
yeah.
On the first one, but it's like sped up 10 times.
Yes.
That's where like all the punk element came from too, is like kind of my side.
Right.
And then yeah, fit together well.
At what point did you start working with Craig?
That was later last year, like
Yeah?
right after, probably like 2 months after Nate had decided to leave the band. I was like,
Hmm.
I think I just wanted to like experiment with bass, and it was something I'd thought about for a little while because I was
Mhm.
getting to the point, when you kind of like you start working on something and then you kind of hit a wall
Mhm.
where you're like, I wish I could do like guitar solos and it doesn't sound empty behind me, or I wish I could do like leads on this and do
Mhm.
backups here. And it was just like becoming more and more like I want to make music that I actually need another person for.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
And like I'd known Craig for a little while. He's a great bass player. He's got a great voice, great dude. And I just asked him to start jamming, and like we didn't have a drummer at that point, so I was just like, "Do you want to just like play the songs together, see what you think?" And then it kind of just went like that. We ended up playing. We played a Newmarket show together, actually with Mark too.
Okay.
At that point, because we were still like trying to figure out drum stuff. And that was a lot of fun. It's funny though, because I think that was like our ringer show a little bit, because my
Okay.
amps, there was like a dead patch cord, and I decided
Oh.
to make a really extravagant rig for that
Oh, okay.
show.
Okay.
So like at one point I was just like singing, and I just went over to Craig's bass amp and turned it up almost all the way, and like he was just playing bass and Mark was drumming and I was just singing, and we're turned into whirlwind heat for like 5 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome.
I ended up figuring it out, but it was like, in those tough show moments where you're like, I don't want to kill the vibe, but like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
you
what's
just gotta keep
on.
going. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was fun though. It was a good time.
Yeah, for sure. I also checked out some of Craig's like solo stuff. He just put out a song in August as well.
Yeah, can we go back?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
His
that's a
stuff
great
is
tune.
very different,
Yeah,
right?
I kind of like to work with people like that though. Like I like to
Yeah.
work with people that are really different than myself.
Yeah, for sure. And then I also checked out Mark's profile, and he's like more into country. Am I right there?
No, he's like he likes. Well, he kind of likes everything. He does play with like some country people. He's like in London. He's a drummer for hire
Okay.
too. So he actually on Spotify, he has like kind of like a more funky couple albums that he's done.
Okay.
He does play in like a popular band called Five Oceans also.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's
Right.
yeah, so like he has like a little bit more like training when it comes to like reading music and like all that kind of stuff. Like he's great with that stuff. But he's kind of one of those guys where it's like, can you play this? And he's like, yep.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's just got it
Yeah.
right away. So
True.
yeah. But I just like working with people that are like different from me in the sense of like we don't even have to listen to the same kind of music, but I think we could still like build something together and it would be
Definitely.
cool, and you would get like all these different things you normally wouldn't get, right?
Yeah, for sure. And do you think that moving forward, like, are Mark and Craig, they're in the band now, like, or is it more hired guns?
Yeah, I don't know. Like Craig is for sure. Mark is like we're just like figuring things out still. Like
I guess yeah, it's a weird time, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like with COVID and everything like that, like it's hard to tell if when we go back to shows and stuff, if he'll have like the time to do it with all the other projects that he's doing too. Actually, he plays in a rockier band too called Jan Marino and the Hearts, and they're great as well. So they're definitely worth checking out as well. But yeah, no, like, but the record that we're writing right now, I'm really excited about it. I think it's
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great.
Sweet.
I think it's gonna be super fun.
That's wicked. What else have you been doing during all of this COVID stuff? Like maybe like stuff outside of music?
I'm trying to take up running right now.
Oh, dude, me too.
Oh, are you? How's it going for you?
Not well. Not well. I mean, like I got out a few times, but I found like if I did it maybe like 3 times in a week, every day that I wasn't doing it, I felt bad. So I started getting in that mindset that people always tell you, like, man, if you just start working out, you'll want to start working out. I'm like, that makes no sense to me at all. And then, yeah, I started feeling that, and then I just felt bad and didn't really do anything about it. Now I'm like back to like not doing it. But I've decided that this week I'm gonna get back into it and like really try. Been putting on the COVID weight. Like I've noticed a lot of my buddies have been saying, you know, like, Frank, man, you're looking a bit bigger, and I'm like, okay.
Oh man, yeah, I get what you're saying though. Like I've been trying to go 2-3 times a week.
Yeah,
and it's hard because it's like I feel like everybody who tells you it's like, oh yeah, you'll just want to work out all the time. It's just like, yeah, but I'm so busy.
Yeah.
You know?
When do people find time for any of this? I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's crazy. But like I've been trying to get up at like 6 in the morning and going because it's like not quite as hot.
Right. Yeah.
But that's what kills me though, is like it's trying to get up so early.
Yes.
But then like I think it's just maybe it's kind of like that. You just have to keep going, and then one day you're like, yes,
yeah,
I did it.
Apparently that's what's supposed to happen, I think.
Great. I'm looking forward to that day.
Yeah, I know. Or like hitting that like runner's high. That's another thing that I'm like, what does that mean? What is that?
Do you find like, so I find like when I'm running, um, I try to test our new songs that way too, where it's
Okay.
like, so if I listen to our songs and I start running faster, then I'm like, okay, cool, I'm on to something.
Oh,
So,
cool. Oh, that's
yeah.
interesting.
So like if
Huh.
there's anything that we're writing that's like 45 BPM and up,
Right.
like I'll listen to that, and if I start running faster, then I'm like, yeah. It's
This
kind
is
of like,
working.
yeah, it's like, you know, when people put music on in the car and they're doing like 50, and then the song that they like comes on, like all of a sudden they're doing like 85.
Yeah, yeah, I've bet that's happened to me a few times for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of, I kind of think it's the same concept.
Okay, cool. Well, I've actually been closing off. Like we're at the pretty much at the end of my my
Oh, okay,
questions.
cool.
So, but I have been asking people like, what have you been listening to throughout all of this?
Oh, what have I been listening to? Hang on, let me pull up the Spotify here. I just discovered this band today called the Flaming Sideburns, which is like a
Never
Detroit
heard of
rock
them.
band. Yeah, that's
Okay,
one record they have called Hallelujah Rock and Rolla is pretty sweet.
okay, cool.
Yeah. Let's see, what else I got here? It's on my recent. Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, Fu Manchu, and You Will Know Us by the Trail of Dead. I've been listening to a lot of the new OBGMs. Man, those guys are killing
Oh
it.
man, they're so good.
They're
Yeah, their new
so
stuff's
good.
great. Yeah,
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 nicest dudes ever too.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man, that
so nice.
I've honestly been finding that with all of these interviews I do, everyone's so nice. Like I think like if you're an asshole, you're probably not gonna make it. Or I don't know. I guess you can like make it up to a point and then start becoming an asshole. But like I just all these interviews I've been doing with anyone, it's just everyone's just so cool and like to the point where I'm like, huh, I did not think you would be like this. You know what I mean? Like especially if I'm like interviewing someone that's in a heavier band. Like I'm interviewing the guitarist from Teeth
Oh, okay,
tomorrow,
cool.
and just from our email exchange, I'm like, this guy's gonna be pretty cool to talk to, I think. And like when I was listening to the music, I was like, I like that kind of stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, I always just like go in with like this mindset of like what the person's gonna be, and then like it's never like that. They're always like way not that I go in with like low expectations, but it's always like people are cool, which is good. It's
That's
nice to see
awesome.
that. Yeah.
That's always great then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there like a genre that people wouldn't expect you to listen to that you're just like, I'm actually a huge fan of this band and it's like totally left field?
Hmm. I've been listening to a bit of like Father John Misty lately.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
on.
he's got
Okay.
some pretty good tracks. It's kind of like I get to the point where I want to wind down, and then I don't know what to pick, and then I end up just like, oh, somebody mentioned that.
Yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
gonna try
Father
and
John's
listen to
good.
the National pretty soon. I've never listened to
Okay.
that band, so
Cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's good. Yeah, you should check out his name's the White Buffalo. If you're
Oh,
kind of like
okay.
dipping your toes
Yeah,
into Father John, like he's like that, a bit more Americana, and
that's cool.
he's an interesting dude too. He came from like a punk background, and now he just plays like folky Americana music, and he's got a great voice. He's awesome. I'd check him
That's
out for
cool.
sure.
What's that one guy who has the mask?
Orville Peck, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah,
I want to check his music out too.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
on my
It's
list for
good.
tomorrow.
If you're yeah, definitely check it out. It's like oh, I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's country, but it's not. It's like cinematic country. I think that's what I would like. I always just think of like Western movies when I hear him play. Like it's just like more of like a cinematic vibe to everything. But yeah, he's really good too.
That's super cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll be into that. I'll
yeah,
definitely be into that.
yeah. I think you'll
Sure.
like it, man. Cool,
Sweet.
dude. Well,
Okay.
Jared, thanks so much, man.
Hey, thank you. That was
Cool, dude.
great, man. Thanks so much.